This week we find out Black Ops 2 is coming, Zenimax is working on an MMO RPG, and Valve talks about E3 and what not to expect from them. I'm Handsome Tom, and this is the Game Heroes Weekly News. In what had to be the worst kept secret in gaming, Activision and Treyarch announced this week that Black Ops 2 will be coming November 13th. What is surprising though is the game won't be taking place in Vietnam or the Cold War like the previous title. Instead, it will take place partially in the 1980s at the tail end of the Cold War, but primarily near the future, 2025. This will be the first Call of Duty game to feature futuristic warfare. Treyarch also says they'll be changing up the gameplay in single player. One major change is branching gameplay choices. During the single player, you'll have a chance to strike between a handful of missions called, Strike Force. Once you choose a mission, the others will be locked out, meaning if you want to try all of them, you're going to replay the single player to make it happen. During these Strike Force missions, you'll have a few options on how to reach your objective. You can go in as a single soldier, like you typically would in a Call of Duty game. You can take control of aerial attack drones instead, or you can drive an animal-like tank called the Claw. As you can see, there will be several different combat choices in these side missions. Also, these missions will provide consequences into the rest of the single player. Objectives will either be becoming easier or more difficult depending on if you've failed the Strike Force mission. It's definitely a different system compared to the very linear storylines in other Call of Duty games. We're gonna have to wait and see how it plays out. Don't worry gamers, both multiplayer and the very popular Zombies mode will be returning. No information on whether, how it's gonna be, but as soon as E3 comes next month, hopefully we'll have more news. Well, it looks like The Elder Scrolls Online is a real thing. The MMO is in development by Zenimax Online and will be the cover story for July's Game Informer magazine. Not much is known about the project, except it's supposed to take place 1,000 years before Skyrim, and it'll be played across the entire land of Tamriel. We'll let you know any more information on the Elder Scrolls MMO as soon as the information becomes available. Still hoping for Half-Life 3 announcement this year's E3? Don't hold your breath. Valve Software's Gabe Nowell says there will be no new product announcements at this year's trade show. Instead, the company will be showing off the already announced DOTA 2 and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Sorry people, it looks like the eternal wait for the next chapter continues. Makes you wonder if it's ever going to come. And finally, here are this week's new releases. Tuesday, we'll see the following games available for purchase. Starhawk will be available on the PS3, Datura will be also available on the PS3, Phantom Breaker will be available on the 360, Warlock Master of the Arcane will be on PC, Wednesday, the 360 version of Minecraft will be available for download, and Friday, Street Fighter X Tekken will be on PC. For more kick-ass content, please be sure to check out thegameheroes.com. I'm Handsome Tom, we'll see you again next week.